As we all know, comms are key in PUBG, so here are a few tips to help you win more fights as a team. Whether you are actually mute in real life, sick, or just trying to be quiet, you can still communicate effectively. To benefit the most of your visual communication skills, make sure to master the use of your communication wheel. As we all know, PUBG has the dumbest developers in the world, so only 20% of the communication wheel makes sense and the rest is as usual dogshit. Simply put, use the keep quiet when you are being pushed or pushing someone and you need comms. Use the requesting help when you spot multiple enemies but you are not yet engaging. Use the copy that when your teammates are requesting anything and you can help them with it, so they know that you are on the same page as they are. Now to keep it simple, all you have to do is to hold your mouse wheel and then go left and right, up and down to be able to choose whatever message you want to send to your team. Once you release the mouse wheel, the message will pop up on your left side. The mouse wheel ping will also allow you to ping cars or weapons and most importantly, enemies. To be able to tag enemies, you need to double click the mouse wheel button. Instead of just pushing it once, you need to push it twice. Now the question is, what is the most efficient way of tagging enemies? Let us assume that there is an enemy behind this tree. Try to avoid as much as possible to tag the core of the tree. Always aim for a place where the enemy will not peek from, like the top branches of the tree. Otherwise, you will cause visual overload to your teammates that are trying to shoot with you. Similarly for windows, always mark on top or bottom of the window to avoid causing any visual overload to your teammates. Now let's jump to actual oral communication. Funny enough, if you're not an English native speaker, you might be better at comms than someone who is fluent in English. The purpose of comms is to provide as much information in as little words as possible. In PUBG, all you need is 10 to 15 vocab words to be a perfect teammate. So let's go through them. First, we start with the most easy word to call an opponent, which is enemy. Guy and people can also be used. Secondly, know your ping's color. Red or orange, blue, green and yellow are the most common colors callouts. Thirdly, knowing to call out cars and buildings and the direction of where the enemy is showing, like left, right, front or back, is very important. And finally, being able to quantify the distance of enemies by descriptive or quantitative words, also known as counting to 100. In the following, we're gonna listen to some comms and we're gonna try to say whether they are good or bad comms and explain why.
There are, I think I saw maybe 2 or at most 3 guys. Yeah, it's 2. I see them there. They're on my ping next to that car, so I can't see them anymore.
I guess it is pretty obvious that these comms are terrible. Half of them are filler words, and the actual information comes in very late. A better version is the following.
2 or 3 guys at my yellow ping next to the car. Let's push them.
We can obviously notice the improvement. The comms were short, but enough to give all the needed details. Ping color was mentioned, since it's not always easy to recognize the person's voice and link it to their ping color. Even with pre-made teams, you might not always focus on who has which color, or you might forget who has which color. Finally, there was an action plan. It doesn't have to be a push, but the action plan should be mentioned whether it is a hold them, push them, or avoid them.
Guys! I think there is a guy camping in my building. I'm scared.
The following is not considered bad comms, but incomplete. There are a few unnecessary words, but that's normal in stressing situations. However, the biggest problem is that the guy never identified who he is. What if other teammates were also in other buildings? And more importantly, he never gave directional information on where the enemy is so that his teammates can push correctly. In these 4 scenarios, in case 1 for example, the better comms could have been guy on me, bottom floor, red ping. In case 2, 2 guys on me, bottom and top floor, red ping. First one here, should be low, in the corner of orange if you have an aid. Bond it. In front of me, real player, on orange. In the open, 120. On this rock, orange marker.
He's on green now.
Yeah, he's on the rock.
He's just sitting green.
He's running right in the open. Left. One's left.
Both left by the tree.
One standing, guys. One standing.
Keep going, Shrim.
Yeah,
I'm gonna carry Shrim. Can you
Just
cover
stay in
him?
zone. Stay in zone.
Fight,
More by
Tig.
tree.
You should
In
fight.
smoke.
Just hold him.
He's in H1 smoke.
Okay, I'm peeking.
Should fight.
Keep going. I'm holding a smoke.
He's on his rock. He's on your rock. On your rock.
Dead.
As we can see, pros try to keep their comms as concise as possible, with a small margin of human error by talking a bit too much or repeating the same information, which is acceptable especially when playing in the biggest tournaments in the world. To recap everything, Be very concise, especially in hot situations. Always identify yourself by mentioning your ping's color. Always mention your plan of action. And finally, remember that no one wants to play with a bad teammate. And if you're being blamed for your bad comms, focus on that because it is as important as your shooting skills.